All right, everybody. I am Andrew Baydala. That is Jordan, also known as Slick Flair. We are live for TLW. And for those of you who are wondering what the hell that means, it's a Tuesday live wire. Myself and Jordan are going to discuss all the topical things here in professional wrestling and sports entertainment. We're going to take your questions, your comments, your concerns, and we're going to break this stuff down only way we can right here on the Wrestle Purist channel exclusively. I'm not doing any of my content anywhere else. So this is where it's at for the next couple of weeks, months, years. We'll have to wait and see. At the end of the day, what I hope to bring to all of you with Jordan and with Juice here on Wrestle Purist is a different take on the business and some different eyes and ears on the business. Jordan is significantly younger than me, but that doesn't make a big difference here. We're both wrestling fans at the end of the day, just like all of you. I have the business perspective. I'm lending that to Jordan as well. And Jordan's going to give you a lot. He is a very knowledgeable wrestling fan and connoisseur. Jordan, it's good to see you, my man. How the hell are you?
It's good. It's good. I'm doing great. It's a nice, beautiful Tuesday here in Texas. It's a little hot still in October, but it's good. I'm good. A lot of wrestling this past weekend.
Indeed. We had a crown jewel on Saturday morning. I loved having some coffee and some professional wrestling. And then
get it done and over with.
Right. Yeah. And then you had the whole rest of your day, go play football. Yeah. No problem. No issues. We had then TNA on Sunday. We had Raw on Monday. We have a big weekend for All Elite Wrestling, Wrestle Dream.
A New Japan show that crowned a new champion this past weekend as well.
Kesha,
Yes. So a lot of wrestling this weekend.
We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about Team 3D versus the Dudleys. I don't believe it's their final match ever, but we'll get into that. Some other stuff, some other topics. I welcome all of you and thank you all for joining us. Jordan, where do you want to go? Where do you want to start off with?
Well, it's, as you guys know, I'm on Twitter very heavily. And so this seems like a more apropos topic. I don't know if you guys saw, but obviously during the TNA show, BDE, I believe, is the content creator's name. Him and another person. I don't know who the other guy is exactly. But they did a video and they were giving out tickets to the TNA show. And that caused a little bit of buzz, considering the TNA did indeed break an attendance record, which I believe it was 7,794 was the reported number. Great show, great, filling out the seats. But there was this idea of, I believe the correct term is papering tickets.
That's correct.
The correct term, but giving away tickets in layman's terms for people to understand. I'll tell you,
papering the building, the house. It's basically
papering the building.
Comp tickets, or you're doing giveaways or radio stations. Listen,
now,
Royal Rumble 97 was heavily papered. Go ahead.
You being a person you're in that industry, that's of the norm, right?
Of course.
Yes.
It depends. I mean, when you're looking at such a thing as WrestleMania, even there's a ton of comps there. There's seat fillers, there are all this other stuff. There's a lot of things that go into the industry in terms of attendance and ticketing and marketing that a lot of the, professional wrestling, sports entertainment fans don't really care about. But tickets have been a topical discussion for the past, 4 or 5 years, and it's constant. People are always figuring out what the actual attendance is. Will we get a full report, a scan report, as we call it in the industry, on this event? I highly doubt it. And we know they did it for the show in Texas for AEW, but at the end of the day, will we get a scan report for this? I doubt it. Papering tickets is a tactic. Papering buildings has been a tactic that has been used since the 80s. So there were seat fillers for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, and I know that for a fact. So it's not something that is out of the norm here.
No, because Moose as well, and if I could pull up this tweet, because Moose, great TNA star himself, he had posted a little something about it, and I'm not going to read the whole statement, so please, everybody, go out and find it yourselves. But he mentioned somewhere about like people. There are people thinking that they gave away 200, 300, 1,000 tickets, and that is not the case. These people did not. TNA as a business isn't going to give away tickets. Now, the point that I do want to make in this, and this is just me, you know, Andrew, you and I run this. We said no dirt, just dialogue, right? So let's have the dialogue. A certain company did this not that long ago.
Sure.
And they did it, I believe it was with a meal, with burgers, something of that. And they were kind of clowned for it. And here it is, and TNA is doing it now. Granted, don't get me wrong. I want to start off.
What are you referring to? Let's just make that clear. What are you referring to?
So a long time ago, what was it? AEW was giving away tickets with a purchase of, like, I want to say Burger King. It's just top of my head. I don't think that's correct.
Oh, that was a fake report, just so everyone's aware.
Oh, I know, but the point I want to get at is that it's rules for thee, but not for me. And I don't really like that idea, because I do want to talk about the idea of giving away tickets is a great, especially when you're smaller, TNA, AEW, Hog, it doesn't matter. The idea of papering your tickets and giving away tickets is great promotion, because me, if I'm a fan and, I want to go, you guys are in town, and you just so happen to give me a ticket, now I'm more inclined to maybe save up, keep you on the lookout to watch and show up next year, or show up the next time that you're in town. And so this idea that papering tickets, or that TNA couldn't get that number without papering tickets, I think it's a fallacy. TNA was going to do that number regardless. With the Hardys and the Dudleys in the building, you had to know that they were going to do a very good number. And the show was good. The show overall was good. So I think they did right by having not only a content creator give away those tickets, but then having that same content creator involved in the show. So now that person that got the ticket from BDE feels a connection. It's like, oh man, I saw you make your TNA debut and you gave me a ticket. And the only reason why I saw this was because of you. So TNA just made a fan.
You can't hate on one company for doing it and then not hate on another. I understand it's something that's been done in the wrestling industry, concerts, whatever, time and time again. It's used as marketing and promotional dollars, and that's what it is. There's been companies who have bought their own tickets, put them out on the secondary market to claim a sellout. There has been, and they use them as marketing dollars. There has been this. There's been other promotions. As you want an ass every 18 inches. Let's just call a spade a spade. Everybody in that building, I would say 90% of it, was there for the Hardys and the Dudleys. That was evident by the end of that TNA show, unfortunately, for Mike Santana and Trick Williams.
I didn't want to go there.
The building was empty when Mr. Santana was holding up that championship, and I felt for Santana because it just felt like there was.
So do you feel like that? Do you feel like the Hardys should have main evented? And what, because of that?
I said that a week ago. I said the Hardys and Dudley should main event. And the reason I said that is because you don't want fans to feel like, I saw what I needed to see, let me get out of here. WWE has been very, very good with that. They always make sure that the last match is realistically the match you want to see. And with the shortening of their pay-per-views, PLEs now, it's 5-6 matches. Almost every match besides maybe one you really want to see. So again, sometimes less is more. With this, I would have had Santana and Trick right before the Dudleys and Hardys. And I understand where some were like, it's not going to be the match that everybody thought. And it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a nostalgia act.
It was a moment.
And the Hardys and Dudleys, for now, said goodbye. But I would have had it main event because, like I said, 90% of that house, in my opinion, was there. Not really my opinion. It's pretty much fact. Was there for the Hardys and the Dudleys. So.
Yeah, no. And if you want to get into that, yeah, we can. I do think that if you're not going to have them close the show again, put your Trick Santana should have been the co-main, because one, I think the reason why the Dudley should have main evented, because the moment of taking off the boots and giving it to your rivals, having that close your show would have been a very, very good visual.
Yeah, and the other thing too here is that you really, again, a lot of people don't understand, like, match placement is hugely important in
Paramount.
professional wrestling.
Very, very
Because at
paramount.
the end of the day, you want to start off hot, you want a middle hot, and then you want to end hot. And I understand in retrospect and in theory, Mike Santana beating Trick Williams and getting the championship back to a quote unquote TNA superstar was something that a lot of people wanted to see. My opinion, watching Mike Santana come to the ring and even the introductions, it was very obvious that Mike was going to win. Santana was going to win. I thought to myself, we got to be better here. And that's just a little nuance. I'm not going to tell people and professional wrestlers when they should duck or dodge or catch a wrench or whatever. But I'm just saying when like the boo-boo face and the celebratory face is a real thing, and it needs to be something where we are stone cold.
Not only that, but I think this was sometimes predictability in wrestling sometimes helps, but I think this is one of the situations where being too predictable really hurt.
And the Leon Slater finish sucked. That match sucked. God. The match didn't suck. The finish sucked. Let me take that back.
Sucked. No one was happy with the finish. No, and I don't think you should be, because you needed to. I believe pay-per-views deserve definitive finishes.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
You people paying $40 for a pay-per-view, traditional wise, on TNA Plus or Thriller or whatever, and without a IP bouncer or a NordVPN or whatever you use, unless you're legally streaming it, which we're not advocating for.
No.
You're paying money, so you want to give the fans what they want, and I can understand building towards another pay-per-view like they did on Long Island. They had Santana lose, which I thought was the moment, but they decided not to. Listen, at the end of the day, I was extremely happy for Mike Santana. He's worked his ass off to get there. But for me, that moment was anticlimactic because of the way he took the introductions and the way that the crowd was just out of it after the Dudleys match. It was a shame.
The crowd was out of it. A lot of them weren't there. And then once the introductions, Trick Williams, 140 something days as champion, 6 title defenses. And, you start to your wrestling brain's like, okay, no, we're walking out with a new champion. And so you're already taken out of seeing that, the result, the actual in between the ropes match that happened. I found myself very hard to get emotionally involved. And I believe when you're coming to a title match, when you're coming on a company versus company style of match, it should have felt, Stampede said it felt a lot more hollow than it did. And it did. It felt very, very hollow.
For sure. Yeah. And a lot of people are going to call me crazy, but you could have opened with this. I mean, there would have been a talking point throughout the show.
It would have been great.
Mike Santana. You could have also set up a Santana feud. The Nick Nemeth thing, all this other stuff, and the Frankie Kazarian. Mike Santana could have came out and kind of like you almost made Santana's win almost like negated. Yeah, and it was just like, what are we doing? Like,
I'm glad you brought up Nick Nemeth, because that was so I don't know if you ever saw that report, but Nick apparently didn't or doesn't want to be involved in the NXT TNA side of booking.
Yeah, which is smart on Nick.
Extremely smart. So I thought it was like, okay, him showing up during that match, it's like, okay, cool. The TNA title is really, truly staying at home. Trick's not getting a rematch. Another NXT star isn't going to step up. Cool. We have our new program, which is going to somehow involve Elias, Nick Nemeth, and Santana. Mm-hmm. Cool. Great. But here's my issue with that. Again, when the moment already felt deflating and then you overbook it, by having a fake cash in.
Almost two.
I think TNA, because that was what I noticed as far as the fan reaction coming out of this show was, man, this was fun, but man, these TNA booking decisions, it seems like they kept getting in their own way. They're cutting off their nose to spite their face, because I understand you had to get Nick Nemeth inserted immediately, right?
Sure.
But you couldn't have just waited till the next week. But then again, they pre-tape everything. So like it's hard to do the way TNA structures their TV and everything like that. TNA, I think this was TNA at its core. That part of the booking was TNA at its core. And for better or for worse, it is what it is. But
yeah, and whether you agree or disagree with the booking decisions, I can tell you that 3 companies that really have their crap together when it comes to booking, at least in my opinion, the third company on this list is not TNA, it's AAA. AAA's pay-per-views, I thought, flow good. I thought the booking decisions, there's not a lot of I won't use the wrestling term, but there's not a lot of bullshit that goes on, and there's not a lot of wool over people's eyes. It's just right in front, and you can have a little bit of gaga or whatever, but you can't continuously do this. And if it's a theme throughout the show, it just seems lazy. And don't get me wrong, there are times when Dynamite's off the air and it's this six people run into the ring, and here we go, and it's a melee, and it's like, what is this, Nitro? So I mean, I call it the way I see it. And I just think that when you're talking about pay-per-views, nobody does it better than WWE and AEW at this point. But I think AAA is right there. TNA, the 2 times that this year that I bought their pay-per-views, I thought, besides 1 or 2 matches, it was a complete miss.
And that's, maybe this is another discussion for a different day, but that's where I feel like TNA has failed on their end of the partnership. It's that, okay, cool, WWE's helped you gotten the eyes. Okay, we've probably helped you with your production budget a little bit too, on the side. But the booking, you still got to get the booking right. You
For
still
sure.
got to get, you can have all the bells and whistles and you can look as pretty as you want, but you have to give the paying customer what they want.
And Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Bound for Glory like their big event, that and Slammiversary?
Bound for Glory is their quote unquote mania, is their biggest show of the year. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you don't too many swerves and lefts and rights and all this stuff. Just it's wrestling.
Just give me the matches that I need and with the results that I need. We didn't need the Nick Nemeth and all that. It was extra.
And again, with the papering tickets, papering the building, giving away tickets, every company does it.
Every company does it.
This is not unique at all.
And just because they're doing it for a bigger show, I mean, again, what do you expect? The TNA operates on a much smaller scale. Again, like you said, we need a button every 18 inches. So if I got to give away, and it was about 30 to 40 tickets, people. Let's be very.
I mean, we don't know that to be a fact. I doubt they gave away 3,000 tickets. That would be a complete net negative.
If you look at the video in both of their hands, I'm gonna estimate the guess 5 in one person's hand, maybe 10 in another.
Oh, you're talking about what you saw on camera.
Yeah, I'm only going to speak on what I saw.
Well, what I can tell you is that in the industry, they'll give whoever that YouTuber is or whomever. Gave away, let's just say 30, 40 tickets, 20 tickets, whatever. You have no idea how much a building was giving to local radio stations or to government or whatever, friends and family. So, I mean, to sit back and claim an attendance, WWE's done it for years, AEW does it. To get too far into the weeds with attendance numbers, you're just going to drive yourself nuts. Like, I'll give you an example. John Cena's last match in DC, okay? Very much involved in it. I am, in terms of the building and everything else like that. They pulled all of the suites. There are no suites available, and that's done by their promoter. And that promoter would be TKO. And why is that being done? Well, it seems as if that's being done for 2 reasons. One, security reasons. Is the president of the United States going to be there? Are there going to be government officials there? They also probably don't want suites to be on sale in the secondary market before they actually hit the pre-sale, which is tomorrow. Again, WWE and TKO have been holding suite sales and premium locations for a long time in terms of not putting them on sale to the general public or consumers or brokers or whatever. To avoid this type of stuff, they also can control the market. So there's a lot of different things that go into ticketing. I wouldn't sit here and rack your brains about the ins and outs of ticketing. You can look at attendances, take them with a grain of salt, and realize that 9 times out of 10, how we got to 40, 50, 60, 70,000 was a lot of comps or a lot of, brokers buying them up at the end of the day.
So you mentioned something. You mentioned John, and it's a nice segue to Crown Jewel. And I want to start. I just want to start right in the nitty gritty.
Sure.
What did you think of the John Cena match?
I loved it. And anybody who didn't like the John Cena AJ Styles matches, out of their mind. Too many finishers.
Let me go ahead
Too many
and
of
find
this.
it then. Let me go ahead because I can't. I guess I'm out of mine because
You didn't like it?
So this is how I described it to like my brother. My brother asked me because he knows what I'm doing now. So he's like, "Oh, so what did you think of the John match?" I said, "I liked it. I didn't love it. I enjoyed it. I wasn't entertained by it.
You weren't entertained by it.
No, not in the terms of a wrestling match. I did like it, but my and again, I'm a smart, hardcore fan, whatever you want to call it.
So let me ask you a question. Hold on a second. Let's reverse this.
Yeah.
What is your quintessential perfect match? Or what's your favorite match?
Favorite match of all time?
Right.
AJ Styles, Nakamura, Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So then give me a second, a close second, if you had to pick one.
Close second. This is kind of crazy. People are wild. What was it? The play button WrestleMania, the greatest
31.
height, 31, the heights of the century.
Oh, Lesnar, Rollins, and Reigns.
That Seth Rollins cash in was beautiful.
Okay.
The way he did it, it started. It wasn't the end of the match. It was hey, all right, this is a triple threat. They kind of got some offense in on each other.
Okay.
The moment and what so, and I'll tell you the reason why I chose those two matches. One, the first match is very move heavy, very spot heavy. I love hard hitting. I love that style. Mm-hmm. The second one, the reason why I love the heights of the century so much is moments, because I believe moments are just as important as moves in wrestling. Moments are just as important as moves.
They're more important, in my opinion. The moments are more important than the moves. That's just me.
No. I and that's the thing. It doesn't, depending on the match or the story, and sometimes the company, those can interchange at any given moment. And so for me, in terms of this John Cena AJ Styles match, it felt more, it was about the moves rather than the moment. And that's fine, but the moves have to have then meaning. A lot of M words here. Sure. They have to then have meaning. And that's what I found to be my issue in the John Cena AJ Styles match. Was a lot of this was just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. I'll start with
that's what the fans want, right? I mean, so we were, and I say we, but the fans were kind of like robbed because we finally got a Cena heel turn, and then there was no direction whatsoever. Yeah. There was no Travis Scott besides a ridiculous entrance at WrestleMania. The Rock was nowhere to be found, and I had high hopes for that because I thought, okay, this could be a very cool iteration or a cosplay of certain sorts of the NWO, because these are three legitimate heavy hitters. Travis being not a heavy hitter in the wrestling industry, but I mean globally, and musically and everything else like that. Like the crossover appeal is nuts. So the fans want the hits. I mean, the fans want the hits bad. And I thought this match hit everything you would want to hit on from an emotional standpoint, from a moment standpoint, and then the moves. I think this was, again, for me, I understand where people are like, this isn't the match of the decade. I wasn't looking for them to put on a Dave Meltzer 5-star classic. I just wanted to be entertained. That's what professional wrestling is all about. And I thought it was very entertaining.
Well, when they do these kind of tributes in the fashion and form in which they did it, that's where it started to feel a little bit meaningless to me. If you are going to use,
what did you think of Rock Hogan at Mania 18?
Monumental. The match itself was not that great, though.
Yeah, but the match, 100% right. I mean, if you watch that match on mute, you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. It's like,
but I mean, wrestling is, in my opinion, holding the crowd in the palm of your hands and knowing when to duck, dodge, all this other shit. And there is, in my opinion, John Cena has always had either the best or some of the best ears and eyes in the business when he's in the ring.
But I think it's because for that, though, I think that's where he should be a little bit smarter. I want him to be a little bit smarter. And if you're going to pull out, your idea, the new gimmick of your last couple of matches is, okay, I'm gonna use the moves of my foes. Mm-hmm. I would like them to mean something. Don't just some of them he was just pulling them out. Like
he's got 48 left.
Sure, but that's where it needs to be important. Those 4, and that's where the onus is on the company. These 4 dates need to be 4 heavy hitters, 4 people who mean something to John Cena's career, 4 people who are going to challenge John Cena in his career, and challenge him in the sense of, I'm pulling out this, I'm doing the skull crushing finale because, man, I'm desperate, and it worked on me. So who knows, it may work on them.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
Do it because, hey, remember when I wrestled The Miz? It's like, okay, well.
Again, I think John's going to have a lot, if not all, of autonomy to sit back and call what he wants to call in the ring, especially when you're going against a guy like AJ Styles. They gave you a little bit of a wink and a nod with Styles' introduction with the TNA and then the Bullet Club, New Japan, and all this other stuff. And AJ came out wearing and looking like old Styles, a young Styles from TNA. But again, I have no issue with this match because John has done this before in his retirement run where he's paying tribute. And I think John spamming quote unquote finishers, if you want to call it that, it was very entertaining. It really was. And John, I think, is trying to just say, hey, I know I'm not going to get a match with The Miz. He's damn sure not going to get a match with Bray. He's damn sure not going to get a match with Copeland and some other people that he did in this match, finish-wise. I just thought it was very entertaining. I have no critique on this match besides me and my son were very entertained, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. John did put out a post. You said 4 opponents, they got to mean something. John put out a post with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And for me, that signals something I've been talking about for a very long time. It is going to be John Cena versus Roman Reigns in his final match. That's my thought. I could be dead wrong, but if I'm going to give my 4, here they are, and then you can.
Please, yeah.
Dominic Mysterio, Gunther, Braun Breaker, and Roman Reigns. Now, if John's in War Games, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, then that's different. Then you could kind of get maybe the Braun Breaker interaction without having to have a full match. But again, my final 4, Roman's in one of them. So is Gunther. So is Dom. That 4th and final, it could be up in the air. But I think if John wants to pass any sort of equity to anybody, it's Breaker at this moment. So if they don't want to go with Gunther as his final opponent, or if they don't want to go with Roman, Breaker's got to be it. And if I'm sizing this up and it's like, all right, people will be like, well, he's got to give it to a face, got to give the equity. He doesn't, in my opinion. If you're going to pass that equity from Cena and it's not going to be a Roman Reigns match, which I want to see, they don't book for Andrew Baydala. They don't book for Jordan. They book for the masses. I think that match, Roman and John, has a lot of hype, a lot of publicity. It's very marketable. But if we saw what we saw on Monday with Breaker, if they want to build Breaker for the next 2 months to this monster, him and John in DC, I'd be here for it.
I do agree with you. I think Roman Reigns for that last match is the most apropos thing that they could do, because we all remember the big dog promo, the suffering succotash of, hey, do you got this, kid? So running back those old clips and promos will do numbers. So I'll give you Roman, but if he wasn't hurt, and it's probably something we're going to talk about next, I would have had Seth, but I'm going to scratch Seth and say I've got Cody Rhodes. I think somehow, some way, there's I think Cody Rhodes, I think Gunther, I think Dominic Mysterio, because John and Rey's relationship, Rey Mysterio, and so I can see John wanting to wrestle Dom, and I don't think it's been on TV before. So again, John knows where the money's at. And then
I could see John's tweet quarterback. There's 2 quarterbacks. Maybe that's QB1 versus QB2. And Cody's been calling himself QB1. So maybe that's what it is. I mean, it's a good point, Jordan.
I think because with Cody, you don't have to put the title on the line. You don't have to build it up very hard. Like, it's just Cody Rhodes, John Cena.
Yep, I agree. Guys, get your super chats in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Wrestle Purist. But get your super chats in if you want us to answer your question or your comment or your concern. That's the way to do it. Otherwise, we will not be taking questions unless there are a super chat. That is what the brand would like. So that's what we're doing. Jordan, your 4 is Roman, Dom, Cody, and Gunther.
And Gunther.
All right, I like it.
I think he ends it with Roman. I think this next one will be Gunther. So I got Gunther first, Dom, Cody, Roman. That's how I think it's in order, in that specific order. I think that's what it's going to be.
Is there a possibility that John adds another date before we get to the final match? Because the final match is the final match. I've seen a lot of this too. And I will say that the outlets that are reporting it, it's not like they're being fed bad information. That I will say. I checked in on this. So here's a little bit of your hot take, maybe some news for you guys and girls who are just coming over to the Wrestle Purist channel and wonder, like, why do I want to watch this show? Well, here it is. This and the absolute debates that we have and discussions, myself and Jordan. I do know that Saudi Arabia and TKO have approached John Cena to stay, to add on more dates, more money, all this other stuff. I'm going to tell you this right now. Every interaction I've ever had with John Cena, John is a man of his word. And if December 13th is the final date, then that's the final date. Could he add something, maybe another date before that for some money or whatever, which will never be reported in terms of a dollar figure or amount? Sure. But I'm telling you right now, will John be in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania? Yeah. Is he wrestling? I would put it at 0.1%. I think John's final match is in DC. John's a man of his word.
So I've said it last time we were on, and I'm gonna say it again. It's the only other little promote. There is a interview out there with John Cena and I believe Shannon Sharp. Everybody should go watch that. It gives you a nice perspective of John Cena, the man. And I can unequivocally say I don't think he will add another date. He was so serious.
Yeah.
He was very, very serious. He said, I am done. I am through. This is it. There's no more. I am done.
Yeah. And I don't understand why people continue to do this. You know, there's a lot of things that are going to happen in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. John Cena wrestling them, I just don't see it. And again, I'm not dogging on the outlets reporting this because there is very high interest in TKO in Saudi Arabia having John come back, stay around, or continue to wrestle. But it is done in DC. I can't say it any more emphatically than that. He is done in DC. But speaking of Saudi Arabia and WrestleMania, I just want to touch on this real quick, and then we could jump on to the other topics that you have. The retirement of the Dudleys. The Hardys are definitely not retired. Here's what I'll say about this. I don't think the Dudleys are retired. I know Bubba and Devon will probably tell you this. I don't have it on any sort of authority from Bubba or Devon because I don't speak to them. What I will tell you is that Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania, it gives them a year and some change to get into the right mind frame, shape, whatever you want to call it. The Hardys will probably still be wrestling at that point. I think more than likely. And don't forget, at that point, we might have a situation where Copeland and Christian are free, quote unquote, agents from AEW. And I believe that you could have a match in Saudi Arabia at WrestleMania. I'm willing to go. It's more than 50% that this is on the table, that the Saudi Arabia WrestleMania might have an Edge, Christian, Hardys, Dudley's match. And maybe it's a TLC, maybe it's a table match, maybe it's a ladder match, whatever. But that match is probably more than likely going to take place at WrestleMania 43. And I don't believe the Dudleys are done at all. I believe they're done in TNA. No doubt about that.
I think what will end up happening with that, I fantasy book this, is I have the Dudleys, coming back Saudi Arabia to put the New Day through a table. I think it'll specifically be the New Day. The New Day, they're heels, but they're also the other most decorated tag team in WWE. So they also were the ones who brought back the Hardys and that Mania, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago? So there's a lot of history for
it was 10 years ago.
God,
almost,
man. Yeah,
almost 2017, I think.
So there's a lot of history for the Dudleys and the New Day. So I see
That's a
them.
match that can happen, though. I'm just saying at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, I don't think you can get the Dudleys and the New Day. They've actually had this match already, but I could see them revisiting it because it's a different time and place.
It'll be like an interaction.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, though, we saw Triple H on the post show. It is a post game the way that they handle it right now.
Yeah.
The crowd was chanting for Edge, and he said, can't have them. They want what they can't have. And what I'm telling you right now is that I fully believe that once Copeland's contractual obligations with AEW are up, I do believe that he will go to WWE and have a tag match with Christian at WrestleMania because I think the money's going to be too long. I really do. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people in the comments who are laughing and all this other stuff. That's fine. Revisit this in 2 years. The money that Saudi Arabia is going to throw around to have the nostalgia acts at WrestleMania is going to be nuts.
These are the same group of people who were ready to dig up Ultimate Warrior, and bring them back for the show. Like, there's no dollar amount that they won't throw at somebody. And if you're Adam Copeland, yeah, I'm gonna take that money.
Sure.
Take the money for one match, and then it doesn't hurt the legacy of my career. I'm still good. My family's good. My kids will be good. Yeah, I think I can see Edge and Christian back in WWE.
And the Hardys are going to go do something here in WWE, I believe, for the next couple of months. I mean, they're in NXT in terms of the tag team champions, but I'm telling you, I think Matt and Jeff will have a WWE match at WrestleMania, not TNA, not NXT. I think they will be on the WrestleMania 42 card, and I believe they'll have a match. So it's only a matter of time.
The Hardys, the Hardys got another year and a half until they're done. Yeah. Something tells me that they're just going to keep on going.
Yeah,
and it's not bad. But to switch gears, seeing that you let me ask you really quick before we pull on. What did you think of the overall Crown Jewel card?
I thought it was very entertaining from top to bottom. Truthfully, I thought Crown Jewel delivered. I thought it was a very entertaining PLE. I thought Seth and Cody absolutely killed it. I thought John and Styles was everything you could possibly want. And I thought the women, Stephanie Vacour versus Tiffany Stratton, was good. I thought the event was very entertaining as a whole. It flowed well, and I can't complain sitting there having a pay-per-view or PLE start at 7 a.m. my time, having some espresso and some coffee, and then having the whole rest of the day. I mean,
I got to watch
Monday, right? Yeah. The Monday 8 a.m. stuff for Monday Night Raw. I mean, I don't mind a Monday afternoon Raw. Like if they wanted to do Raw at noon,
that killed me.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch Raw fully until at night because Monday's very busy. But
yeah,
I don't hate these afternoon or morning pay-per-views, PLEs at all. I really don't.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, the Roman match was great too.
Oh, it was fun, entertaining. I like the they're still playing on the family cousin Oos thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with that. But no, I thought the card overall was nice. It was good. It was serviceable. The people who needed to win won. It was very nicely well paced. The show looked good. Not many complaints outside of just not that John Cena AJ match maybe not being my favorite, but that's just me in particular. Sure. I know a lot of people end up loving it.
Yeah. Joshua Manning, thank you for becoming a new member. The advocate of Enochiism. Sometimes the move is the moment. $2. I agree. I wish he could face Mello in Boston. $2. You're talking about John Cena. Listen, the Mello match, I would say maybe a year and a half ago, I was all on board for. I had Mello stock, just like Joe Hendry. I know a lot of people want to see that match, but Hendry's stock has not risen, in my opinion. It's kind of stayed the same, if not maybe taken a step down. And I will say that, Mello would be sweet, but at this point right now, with 4 dates, I don't think you can waste. And I'm using this term. It's not what I would like to see have happen. And I don't want to call Melo a waste, but there's 4 appearances left, man. I don't know. To have it be on Melo just wouldn't work. Let's talk about this real quick. I wanted to touch on this. Paul Heyman, Monday Night Raw, and some creative decisions. It seems like WWE has decided, from my eyes and ears, that to give Paul Heyman maybe some more creativity in terms of booking or being part of the creative process. And I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I truly believe that from what I'm watching on Monday Night Raw, I could see Paul and hear Paul Heyman's fingerprints. It's very easy to tell that there's a different direction. And I will say this as well. I spoke to somebody high up at TKO, and they explained to me that they are very much looking at different things and seeing why WWE was so very profitable with certain storylines. And the bloodline was something that they continuously hammered on. And they wanted to know who was behind it. And it seems as if, they found Heyman, Hayes, Vince, who's no longer there, and some others. So I believe that Paul Heyman is sitting back and having more creative control, or a part of the creative process here with WWE, and especially Monday Night Raw, and with some other superstars. So it's a good thing. I was very entertained by that last segment on Monday Night Raw. I thought it was very, very entertaining. And a lot of people were online complaining about it. Oh, it's too early. It's too soon. Like, what's going to happen next? That's the whole reason it's weekly episodic television. Sit back, enjoy the ride, and we'll see what happens. God forbid you have to watch next week. God forbid they give you something to watch next week. I watch Yellowstone, which I did, and now I watch Tulsa King. There's always kind of like a cliffhanger at the end of these episodes so that I want to watch the next episode. And I'm not comparing Taylor Sheridan's writing to WWE or professional wrestling, but you want to leave something to want us wanting more. And that's it. So again, I enjoyed Raw. I thought the segment was good. Let's talk about the injury. A lot of people are, quote unquote, they don't know whether it's an injury or not. They don't know whether to trust Seth Rollins and WWE and all this other stuff. A lot of people are pointing out that Seth Rollins could have been injured on that coast to coast. That's the reason why the breakup of the Vision, and was it too soon? I'm going to say the breakup of the Vision was not too soon. It was unpredictable, which is good. That's the best form of sports entertainment and professional wrestling, when things are unpredictable. Jordan will be joining us back here in a second. Again, unpredictability. And when it comes out of left field or nowhere, that's a good thing. That's what you want. That's why people are all over the internet talking about it. When people are sitting here knowing where they're going, how they're going to get there, the show becomes boring. It becomes very like, okay, and let me go flip them on Monday Night Football, or let me go watch baseball playoffs or whatever. And again, WWE sits back in this time frame normally from September to like the end of November. Survivor Series is kind of where you get some of the Mania plants. And it's kind of like a lull, truthfully. So I'm happy we're getting something that's having people talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, and a big swerve. Could it be because of the Seth Rollins injury? Sure. I don't think WWE is going to continue to pull the whole ruse in terms of Seth being hurt. Now he's not hurt. Haha, we got you again. Because at this point, you already have the internet saying, I don't really trust anything that's going on here with Seth Rollins or anything else. That's really not what you want at all. There was a lot of discussion about what they're going to do with the World Heavyweight Championship if Seth Rollins is legitimately hurt. Big Rap says the breakup of the Vision was very reminiscent of the Judgment Day's breakup with Edge. Unpredictable and added creative juice into the group. Agreed. But again, with the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk was named the number one contender in a match that he won, a triple threat. So a lot of people are like, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to do this? Punk's now the number one contender. Breaker held up the World Heavyweight Championship. I believe Ibu put out a post, and I gave Ibu a lot of crap because he was worse than LeBron with all these goodbyes and the decisions and all this other stuff. Like, come on, man. But at the end of the day, I thought his one-night tournament, a Deadly Games 98 Survivor Series reminiscent of, I would be here for it. A one-night tournament would work. Do I think they're going to do it? Probably not. They'll probably stretch it out. If they were going to do this, they'd have qualifiers on Raw and all this other stuff. But I'd be here for a one-night tournament. I really would be. We have a $5 super chat. QB says the new Jericho Cruise lineup was posted an hour ago. Not one AEW wrestler on it. Jericho is definitely WWE bound. Well, I think a lot of people figured that out months ago. I'm sure that Tony Khan would have brought Jericho back maybe on a good deal, something that made sense. But at the end of the day, AEW and Chris Jericho did good business together, and I think they've gotten everything they possibly could. I will tell you that, a lot of people are reading into the Jericho cruise, but I mean, Chris Jericho also retweeted a lot of stuff that AEW put out. So if Chris Jericho is 100% WWE bound, then okay. I mean, a simple retweet while he's under contract is not going to do anything either. He still is under contract to AEW, I believe. And he retweeted Tony Khan's, the Dynamite logo, and all this other stuff. So their post. So I don't know. I really don't know. We'll have to wait and see. At the end of the day, do I think Jericho's WWE bound? I do. Would it shock me if he shows back up in AEW? It wouldn't. Same thing goes for Britt Baker. A lot of people are talking about Britt and all this other stuff, and she took out AEW from her profile. That means jack shit. And I don't even know if that's factual. It might have been gone for a while. I believe it was, truthfully. I don't know. I don't stalk people's profiles and look for little Easter eggs here. So I don't know. For me, Britt Baker taking something out of her profile or her bio, if it was there, I don't think it's an indication that she is somewhere else bound. I put out a post months ago saying that I wish Britt the best in whatever she does. I don't believe we'll see Britt Baker in AEW, and that's okay. I don't think Britt needs the professional wrestling industry at all, truthfully. I don't want to speak out of pocket, but I'm pretty sure she does pretty well being a dentist. So I just wish everybody the best, truthfully. Another thing, that was talked about a lot is, the entire industry as a whole. Who's number one? Who's number two? Who's number three? Who's number four? Who gives a shit? Truthfully, who cares? Who's number one? Who's number two? Who's number three? It's very obvious who number one is because of the profitability, the drawing power, the crossover appeal, the worldwide appeal, the global appeal. Jordan will be back. He is back. I'll bring him in here in a second. And that is WWE, but we have fans arguing online about who number two is or who number three is in the country or in the world. And at the end of the day, who cares? There's a lot of wrestling to enjoy. And whether you enjoy WWE or AEW or TNA or New Japan or AAA, it seems like we got Baskin Robbins. There's a flavor for everybody. And I think that's what you should be happy about, because not so long ago, there was one after WCW and ECW went out of business. And I know that TNA had a small market share, but I mean, there was really just one. And New Japan was there. But I mean, how many people from WWE went to New Japan? It just didn't happen. Now you have people who have different landscapes, canvases to paint on and to make money. So I think we should stop arguing about who number two is, who number three is, who's outdrawing this person and that person. And I would just focus on what you like and what you don't like. Jordan.
Sorry.
That's all right.
The black SUVs came to my house.
It happens.
The Wi-Fi just decided to, hey, we're going to reset. But, I'm faster now, so I'm good.
I told you when you start working with me and stuff like that, things will change. So just be careful.
Yeah. Definitely. But sorry,
I went over Monday. No, you're good. I went over Monday Night Raw. Talked about how I thought Heyman has more control, and I in terms of creativity, and I thought that's something that's needed. So we don't need to continue with that. You could talk about how you felt about the Vision and how they are no longer.
Yeah, because that's in particular what I think with the Vision. Because I texted to you and I want to put this on people's brains. Has Seth Rollins in WWE played Boy Cried Wolf one too many times?
Well, I touched on that. I said I don't think Seth in WWE is going to continue to pull the wool over the fans' eyes and kind of be like, he's hurt, he's not hurt. Because there's a lot of fans already online saying, I don't believe a word this man says or the company says. And you don't want to continuously cross that line. You don't.
It's very... Because when something actually does happen, you're like, oh, well, I don't believe,
and then if he doesn't show up, the fans are going to work themselves into a quote unquote shoot and be pissed. Yeah.
So, I wanted to tell the fans and the people this: these are real people, for one. So, when and if there was a legitimate injury, Stop speculating and, oh no, it could be no. Seth is hurt. Okay, Seth is hurt. That's obviously going to change things for the Vision and the Seth Riders. I'll say this personally. I think Braun Breaker is a star. Braun Breaker is going to be everything his dad, or no, everything his uncle is telling us he's going to be. Everything that his dad, for whatever reason, won't say he is, because Rick's a little quiet. But Braun is great, and I think, and one of the things I just want to point out in it is WWE does a great job of like letting you know the seed has been planted. Right now, sometimes they grow it a little bit too quickly, because personally, I feel like this turn should have happened maybe next week or a week after, but understand there's an injury. Because the moment where Seth was like, hey, Don, do your little tick, do your little bark, do your little tick, that vision, you could just tell, like, and this is why I say Braun's going to be a star. I don't know if that was for real or not. The way you could tell that legitimately got on his nerves. Like, man, that's not, come on, why are you embarrassing me? You know what I mean? And so you could tell that was a really good just part, acting on his part. But no, I think with the Seth and the Vision, I don't know what the title picture looks like. I don't know where we go or how we change this title picture. Does a Damian Priest come back into play? Does a Drew McIntyre come back into play? Does
I mentioned a Deadly Game tournament. Is that something you'd be interested in? Like a one night?
I'm not going to lie. Yes, to bring back the theme song and the theme song alone,
Sure.
The logo too. I mean, because if nostalgia is the theme for 2025 for WWE, then let's go all out.
Oh.
Like let's do the Deadly Games. Let's do it.
Punk won a number one contendership for the championship. Obviously, things change. Breaker held up the championship, that being the World Heavyweight Championship. I kind of went over this quickly, but I would be here for a tournament one night. I just don't think WWE's going to do it, truthfully. I think they could have like a semifinals matches and then the final match at Survivor Series. But the logo is War Games. So they can still do War Games and still do the tournament, because the World Heavyweight Championship is Raw only. But it would be very interesting to see what happens if they. I
think a one night tournament, a la, because again, if we're going nostalgia, remember what was it, 2005, 2006, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, that one night tournament. You could play off shades of that.
If you really want to get crazy with it, truthfully, what you could do, because remember, Saturday night's main event now is on Peacock and Peacock only, the next two. And we have one coming up in November in Salt Lake City. You could do a 5-match tournament where you crown, or 6-match Saturday night's main event, whatever it would take to get to a one-night tournament where you do crown a new World Heavyweight Championship. And I think that would bring a lot of eyeballs to resubscribing to Peacock if people canceled, because everyone's going to resubscribe for Cena, but you got to get them a month before.
But you got to give them a month before. So yeah, I think that's a great, not say, here's the thing, don't just give me the Cena match to subscribe. Right. So let give me something worthwhile of watching, because I'm not going to lie to you. If it's just John Cena, there are a few pit pirates that I know that may go sail the seven seas. I may not be one of them, but I know a few people who will. And so I think you have to give, and I think that's a great way to give people an incentive to, okay, hey, no, I'm definitely going to watch. If you make a one night tourney on Peacock, and on Saturday Night Main Event, get that whole aesthetic. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that could really work.
I would love to see them. If they're not going to go to the Survivor Series being a one-night tournament, I would love to see a Saturday night's main event. Because again, that's exactly how you hook people to I would resubscribe to Peacock. I'm going to in December, but for right now, I'm not, because A, there's no exclusive NFL games on there until the playoffs, so I don't need it. B, I'm not watching NXT pay-per-views on Peacock or PLEs. And at the end of the day, the Saturday night's main event right now without John, not really a draw to me. So
No.
we'll have to wait and see.
Really, I don't know if you care to share on it more, because I heard you when I hop back in from my Wi-Fi snafu. Britt Baker, I was going to ask you this privately, but we're here. She took it out her bio.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Me neither.
It's very strange that people again, I've never understood this, Jordan. I never understand people with multiple accounts going after people or retweeting people or like the burners or whatever. If you have that much time or you're that obsessed with somebody, you need help. And the other thing too is I don't understand people watching people's profiles and be like, oh, they took this out and all this other stuff. Or the people who scour WWE's roster internally in terms of
they're not on the roster page anymore. They got moved to the alumni section. Yeah.
Shane's over back in the active roster. It's like, okay, how much time do you have? So for me, I don't listen. I like Britt a lot. She's a good human being. I wish her the best. I don't think you'll see Britt Baker in AEW anytime soon, but who knows?
I think when we didn't see her in Pittsburgh, I think that was sign enough. But I bring that up to say, because I know it's stupid. I know I figured you would have that response, and I'm glad that you did, because people do kind of read too much into those types of things. Because it's so funny. We, as the community person in the internet wrestling community, we want to make fun of the Dave Meltzers and poke fun at these people, yet we're doing the investigative work for them.
Sure.
We're in here. They're out of their bio. You are being what you can criticize Dave Meltzer for being.
And more recently than not, what Dave does and the whole Torch, the Observer, what they do, sit back, is the Wrestling Observer sits back and they cultivate and they find news or rumors or whatever that people are talking about. Then they check in with their sources. Listen, they've taken stuff from me. It is what it is. The John Cena Brock Lesnar match, I was the first one who put it out there publicly. I don't care that Dave stole it, and I wouldn't say stole it, but he talked to other people and I used it. I mean, was I pissed at first? I was like, Jesus, dude, you could have just said there was a report floating around from this guy, but at the end of the day, that's the industry. I mean, and the Wrestling Observer and Dave Meltzer have done that more often than not, more recently. And Dave has contacts in places. Do I agree with Dave's takes on the ratings and everything else like that? No, I don't. But it's not like Dave doesn't talk to people, because he definitely does. Whether or not he's given bad information is another thing.
That's a completely different thing. Really quickly, Konosuke, new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Hold on, let's get this super chat in from the advocate of Enochiism, $10. Now that Takeshita is the new IWGP World Champion, do you and Jordan think that he could be the secret sauce New Japan Pro Wrestling needs to help them get back to their 2015-2019 success? Jordan, go ahead.
So, no. Just that era for New Japan is so far gone, because the gaijins, the stars that are here now, whether it be AEW, whether it be WWE or TNA, whatever. They're here now, and it's going to take more than, for lack of better words, a shiny new toy with a new belt to bring in, those fans. And a lot of the reason why I say no is because AEW, and now by proxy with the relationship with WWE, TNA has filled that role, that void that New Japan 2015, 2019 did for other wrestling fans. Most wrestling fans, we all know the conglomerate that is WWE. Or when you get tired or don't want to watch WWE back in the day, you would either watch TNA, or if you were, did enough sleuthing, you would watch New Japan. Now,
right, well, hold on a second, Jordan. We have somebody who says the local New Japan fans are rejecting him being Takeshita. Lee Connell, I mean, I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm not in Japan. I wouldn't know.
I don't see how you could reject him.
Well,
You
a
know,
lot of people are up in arms because he's a full-time AEW contracted talent.
and I think that's So let me take a step back. Maybe they're not. You don't reject Takeshita the talent. You're rejecting his ties and affiliations, and I can understand that.
I'm going to say it's chess. I think it's smart. I think it's smart for Tony Khan and AEW to say, you want this guy as your world champion? By all means. Why? Cross promotion. It also keeps this, which I fully believe, Jordan, WWE is very interested in working with New Japan. And maybe it happens in 2026, the middle of it, whatever.
Yeah,
But I believe this is very smart.
Shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe this is very smart by one Tony Khan and AEW. You want to have Takeshita as your world champion? Only makes his stock higher in my company, and he's got crossover appeal. New Japan's like, yeah, let's do it.
So I think they are going to use Tony Khan is going to use Takeshita the way New Japan used Kenny to shop to American fans, right? When Kenny was over there as the top gaijin, New Japan used him as sort of the face of the company to get American viewers like myself to watch and to subscribe. New Japan World, I want to say, was a relatively new thing at the time. And so they were needing people to kind of get in. And so I think Tony's going to do the reverse of that. Hey, we need to get eyes back on New Japan, as well as keep eyes on AEW. Okay, hey, this is it. This is how we do it. You know, new AEW fans like Takeshita's wrestling style is familiar with New Japan. Okay, let's put the belt on him. He's dual contracted. He can do two birds, one stone. Right? I can understand rejecting him, because you want your champion to be in your company. Right?
I understand that notion and that sentiment, but what I will say is that New Japan Pro Wrestling is in no position to tell any of, whether it's Takeshita, whether it's Kenny Omega, whether it's I don't know, I'll use another AEW contracted talent. Well, he's not AEW contracted, yes. But I mean
not yet.
I don't Okada. Well, he's not with us. I mean, they're in no position. They have been gutted from the inside, and all the major talent that they have, minus a Kid or a Finlay, is in AEW. So again, I mean, I think this is smart not only on New Japan, but it's very smart on AEW. There was a comment here. I can't. Go ahead. I
was going to ask, because when it comes to smart, because I do wonder how he's going to split his time.
That's up to them. I'm sure Tony will fly him on a private jet back and forth. I'm sure.
Back and forth. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Tony loves having that championship on his television. Don't let him fool you.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's going to. I'm more than sure Wednesday, if Kesha don't open the show Wednesday, he's definitely going to be a part of the focal point with that belt. Like 100%. You know, the belt and the trophy. Because the smart money is to have the whole shebang, have him with the G1, you know, that I think that would do great promotion for them. What this I think does too, I think it opens the door for another potential joint show, because I think the idea of Forbidden Door has lost its luster, but maybe because we've seen the success of TNA.
Wrestle Dynasty might be around the corner. They might do that again in January.
And that. So you see where I'm going, right? Because we've seen the success of Showdown and the other NXT TNA shows. People like the idea of this company versus that company. People just like it. It's fun. It's good. Your best versus my best. And
Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong here, though. Didn't Takeshita have a match with Jon Moxley at a pay-per-view for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and lost?
Yes, he did.
He should have won that then, in my opinion, because that was the time and the place. So they've waited a while to crown Takeshita. I mean, the fans 100%. Rejecting this is nuts.
The fans rejecting it is nuts. It's because he's gone through the Young Lions thing. He's lost when he needed to. He's put over the people that he's supposed to put over. He's at the adversity of coming up through an injury. If there's any person who is deserving, it was an eliminator match. You're right. If there's any person who is deserving of this title and this run, it's Takeshita. And so, and I think for them to reject them, it's funny because if Takeshita was at New Japan full time, I don't think his stock was as high. Let's be honest, like for the New Japan fans out there, y'all don't care about Takeshita versus Evil. Y'all don't really care about that. So
another
Takeshita,
$5. Hold on, I want to read this and then
please.
Go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to read it out if you would like.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, the advocate of Enochiism says the $5 super chat. You need stars to make stars. Takeshita's value to New Japan, in his opinion.
And agree.
I do. He is a star. You got to start somewhere. Point in case, AEW, when they first started 6 years ago, their very first champion was a star in Chris Jericho, right? So, and that became a catalyst to the AEW we know today. I think New Japan, as well as Tony, because Tony loves New Japan. He loves New Japan. So I think he is seeing this. Okay, hey, Takeshita, I need you to be the catalyst for New Japan. And I think that's a big burden. I don't want to say burden, but that's a big amount of trust that he's putting on Takeshita. And I think for that reason alone, to reject him is kind of crazy. I know the fans want, their champion to be their champion. But I think this is one of those situations where, like, in it, how we were talking earlier, and TNA had to realize that they were the smaller fish. And so to get that 7,000, Trick Williams had to defend it a couple of times. Trick Williams had to hold that belt for 140 days to get that 7,000. So for New Japan to get, their 7,000, maybe Takeshita's got to hold that belt for 140 days himself. So to reject Takeshita, I think is kind of crazy. I love it. I love the idea, especially with in the kayfabe terms of the Don Callis family. The Don Callis family takeover. They now have the New Japan belt. They have the unified belt. They have the TNT
and no offense to these people complaining about it, or wanting somebody else. Who's got more appeal right now? Who's got more, if you want to call it marketability? Who's got more crossover appeal? Who's got more visual eyeballs on them? Takeshita or Evil? Takeshita.
They tried with Gabe Kidd. They tried it with Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd was here for weeks, for months. You would have thought that. I legitimately thought, I was like, is he on a dual contract? Because AEW was using him so much. He was an honorary Death Rider.
Yeah.
And that didn't even work. People still are like, oh, well, halfway on Gabe Kidd. Takeshita is someone that you can rely on. Takeshita is someone that you can believe in. He's got that for a reason, So believe in Takeshita, believe in Tony Khan's trust in him, and I think by Wrestle Kingdom, I think a lot of people's tones will change on.
I've been screaming for people to change their tones about Takeshita because I don't know what else the guy could do. I'm sorry he doesn't cut a Rock promo. Okay. I mean, but
you don't need him to.
Not everybody needs to do that. Don't get me wrong. You need to talk people into the building, but there's Don Callis there.
Don Callis to do that,
and Takeshita could get better. Don't get me wrong. Okada only says bitch. I get it. I hear you, everybody. But Takeshita has an immense amount of stock that I'm buying.
Well, so then I ask, is that the mark of a star? Is it the ability to bring people in the building, or is it the ability to keep those that are already in the building?
Right. Again, I've said this 100 times. I think New Japan Pro Wrestling is at it. I think it's cold. I think it's a cold product. I think it's a cold brand. So I think this is where WWE would be looming. And again, I think financially right now, I think New Japan, I can't talk about all of their books and everything else like that because nobody has access to them, but you could look at some of the things they're doing in the signups and the pay-per-views and attendance and everything else like that. I think WWE could be looming. So again, strapping the rocket to Takeshita, who hasn't had the rocket strapped to him in AEW, is a way, in my opinion, of keeping New Japan and AEW kind of in each other's
Well,
pockets.
Let me ask you, because you mentioned it on more than one occasion, and so I feel like you really think this is a thing. What does a WWE New Japan partnership even look like? How does that even happen?
Here's what I'll say. If you get some sort of inclusion of AJ Styles and Nakamura, who was just reintroduced to television in
hell, you could bring back Brock.
Right, but if you get Tanahashi's final match and all this other stuff, and you have, it's Nakamura or it's Styles as a referee or whatever. I don't know.
You could do AJ Styles.
That's something that I think a lot of people need to keep their eyes on, because WWE TKO is not going to allow one of their stars to just head over there for no apparent reason.
No, there's going to be, they're planting seeds, they're setting up shop. I don't know if the New Japan fans are rejected, Takeshita, do you think they'll accept Cody? Do you think they would accept Roman? I don't think.
I don't think we're talking about a buyout. I think, don't get me wrong, there's always the possibility of that, because I don't think TKO WWE gets into any sort of business with another company without
thought. Yeah.
I mean, people are sitting back and they still come at me for TNA. TKO has not bought TNA, and we're approaching that year mark where I said give it a year or so. And all WWE has done is filter and funnel talents through there that would elsewhere probably be with AEW or another promotion or New Japan. So WWE keeps TNA in their back pocket because I believe right now they cannot full out purchase TNA. And I don't know if TNA is for sale. But I think the end game with WWE and New Japan is another knife in the back of Tony and AEW that doesn't have to end up cutting off an avenue of distribution. What this does is it ends something that Tony really loves. And I believe that's a partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I don't know if it's ever going to come to fruition, but I will tell you that there's some signs right now that are leading me to believe that if we get Nakamura or a Styles in New Japan for the retirement ceremony of Tanahashi, I think we have a problem.
But I think that goes to the problem that WWE is currently having personally, as far as in the main roster. Hold on, we have a super chat from QB for $2. Takeshita Okada at Full Gear should be a lock. It should be. But I don't see a world where New Japan and AEW aren't intertwined. And the reason why I say that is because New Japan and WWE could have been business partners long before. And so I say that to say I don't think WWE would seize any real value outside of stifling AEW. And so that's the only way I can see WWE being involved, is just, okay, hey, we're just here to stifle.
Well, they could funnel talent and cash, because at the end of the day, what New Japan needs is fresh faces and some fresh money. So that's the thing.
And, to be honest, I would be a fool if
Tony's got the money.
They would print, sending WWE guys over there, they would print money.
Like if you sent Finn Balor, if you sent Dom,
Dom would go crazy.
If you sent Rhea, if you sent, I don't know if Roman would ever do it, but that type of stuff. And if you basically did what AEW did with New Japan in terms of the whole Forbidden Door stuff, and it's WWE, first of all, Tony would flip out because it's just something he doesn't want to see. And I understand that. And that's my opinion, not a fact. But again, I think that's something that, again, WWE and TKO plays chess. They're not playing checkers, and they know what could potentially harm AEW, and that's cutting off avenues of distribution in terms of their media rights. This too would kind of just be like a toothpick in the eye of Tony. Like, look, we're with your buddies now. How do you like us now?
And I think that's to me, that's a different conversation for another episode, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's a scary thought, to be honest with you. I know it is. That's a scary thought.
I know it is. And Tony's got the money. He's got the money to help aid New Japan, but WWE has a lot of things right now that could be very appealing to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe they get New Japan a better media rights deal here in the state. I don't know. Or a media rights deal in the state. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know that.
That's what apparently I saw a report that was put on by the very people, shout out to Recipes. I want to say they also retweeted this, but there are people, I want to say there are people in the company within TNA who believe a TV deal is coming.
I mean, myself and John Albert talked about this. I think so, yes.
And that is due to their relationship with WWE.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what can we benefit? What can you benefit? We can help you get distribution while also hurting the quote unquote competition that we don't give a shit about, which is a lie. So I'm with you there 100%. Carlos Estrada with $5 says, if Seth was cleared to take a tsunami and a spear, I'm hoping he drops the title in a match. I'll be disappointed if he vacates after the ending of Raw. Again, the reports are that Seth is getting an MRI, and somebody said that he tore his rotator cuff, and I believe it was Mike Johnson. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I also have a question here. Are you doing a suite for Washington, D.C. Saturday night's main event? I explained to this before on the show. I am trying to lock in suites, but at the end of the day, right now, with the message that I have been told is that the promoter, which is TKO and WWE, is holding all of the suites. And I think that's because, from what we all can gather, they're trying to control the market, which is very smart, but also I think there's a large government presence coming to this show.
Carlos brought a wink. Carlos brought a good point. If he was cleared enough to do that much,
we got to write them off, Jordan.
Right. So do you see maybe one more match on his way out?
I think if it's a torn rotator cuff or something like that, I think Seth you could do something where Seth comes to the ring and Braun beats him down as soon as he gets in the ring or something like that. You could really make somebody real quick. It's not going to be a Matt Classic, but I don't know if Seth will just relinquish the title. If the injury is bad where Seth can't pull his arm over his head or even work a little bit. I mean, this is a guy who wrestled Cody with a popped pectoral muscle and kept Cody safe. There's a way.
I'll tell you, as a person who's tore his rotator cuff, okay, you can't really do this. You can't really do any of that. Like your arms just kind of
your arms hangs here.
Yeah. It just literally just hangs.
Yep.
So I would like to, let's make Braun, right? We talked about Braun, and again, I mean this, I think he is a star, especially with Paul Heyman next to him. So yeah, let's write off Seth, have Braun, stretcher him out, again, let's let Seth, because Seth does great coming back from injuries. So I would like that, but no, this idea that they're playing with people's emotions and he may or may not be hurt. That's a very interesting idea. It's a very, very interesting idea.
Yeah, and again, you could spear Seth at the beginning of a match, and that's it, and then bang one, and Breaker is off to the moon. I know Punk's the number one contender. You could even have Punk where you spear Breaker spears Seth, Punk picks him up, GTS, and then Breaker points at Punk. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go about this.
I know we're probably winding down here, so I'll ask you this one. This is a good one. Who do you think's the next champion? Give me three people that you would put the belt on right now.
The World Heavyweight Championship? Punk, Breaker, Reigns.
We're back to Reigns? Back to Roman?
I truly believe the plan for WrestleMania, if Seth is not hurt, and obviously that they will change, will be Roman versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think Punk and Cody go against each other for the undisputed WWE Championship. I know a lot of people are thinking Sami Zayn's going to win the Rumble this year. I think it's next year. I think his rise will start to happen, and I think Sami will win a championship of the World Heavyweight or the undisputed WWE, whatever they're calling it, at Mania in Saudi Arabia. Would it be a moment for him to win the Rumble in Saudi? Sure, I get it, but I think that's Punk's moment.
You guys know last week I made my crazy prediction on who I think is going to win the Rumble.
Who is it?
Brock.
Oh, Brock. That's right.
Yeah, Brock.
It's too crazy. It was so crazy, I forgot.
Yeah. Well, you can't. They're not going to boo him there. And then CM Punk winning is great because, well, yeah, that's the other one. CM Punk, because if he wins here, then that they would blood money, whatever, what have you. I'm not going to get into that. But Brock. Yeah, no, Brock winning, they're not going to boo him there, and that's a great way to put butts in seats. Brock in the title picture again, I could see that. Moments over moves. So yeah, Brock being there is a great, huge moment. But the next, I got CM Punk. Obviously, I've got Breaker maybe beating Punk because I think Punk's going to be the next winner. Punk will be the next person to win it simply because of the whole, remember the last time someone cashed in on him, something like that, when the Chamber in Chicago.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?
Where'd you get that? I got Punk, Breaker, and if not Punk, Breaker, honestly, because it's time, Dominic.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Elimination Chamber is not in Chicago because it is, but I've been told not to talk about it. So is it out there? If it is, great. Great. But I was told not to talk about it.
Yeah, I that's news to me, breaking. But I got Dom. Dom is one of the next three champions in this lineage. I think Dom has been doing fantastic, great work. Obviously, him being the AAA champion and the Intercontinental is doing fantastic numbers for himself. His stock seems to get higher and higher every single time he's on TV. Yeah, I got Dom in there somehow winning the Black Fan. Yeah, I'm telling you,
it'll be the first time.
Got to be careful. But no, I've got Dom in Braun and Punk. I think Punk will come out immediately winning whatever tournament they have, or if it is the Chamber. Because if they don't do a one-night tournament, that'll be the tournament. It'll be the Chamber match, the title's vacated. Winner of the Chamber is the winner of the belt.
Grant Hudson says there was a report Saturday, I think, about Chamber being in Chicago, but I don't know if it was 100% confirmed. All right, look, listen, I don't know who reported it, but I can tell you that the Elimination Chamber, everything that I've been told, will be in Chicago. And I believe it
was reported. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And it likely, can't confirm this right now. I know that there were 2 dates blocked show. One of them would go neck and neck or head to head with AEW Grand Slam Australia, which was Saturday, February 14th, or it could be the 28th of February. So there you go.
Well, out of those 2 dates, we probably know which one they're going to pick. So.
I think it's the availability of the venue. I'm not quite sure right now. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. All right, what do we want to end with, Jordan? What do we want to
do? Let's look forward.
Okay.
I like looking forward. So this week's Dynamite card, I don't think has been announced, but is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to this week?
I'm looking forward to a little bit more for Wrestle Dream. I thought that, for the most part, a lot of people, I want to say jump the gun with Joe and Hangman Page. And I thought the selling and the build for last week in the Y was great. I love that Tony Storm is getting a rematch. I think that's needed. I'm not a huge fan of Fletcher and Briscoe again, but I don't hate the fact that Briscoe is finally sitting back and saying, because he talked about this in Philadelphia, I believe, that he wanted the TNT championship match and he's getting it. I think MJF's looming. Yes. The there's a couple things that drive me a little nuts. Darby and Mox, the ending of Dynamite last week was complete garbage, in my opinion. I didn't hate the fact that Darby tried to burn the place down. He does it all the time, but I just thought it was very clunky. I
hated
Darby,
it too. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Darby and Mox, this stuff needs to end at this point. The I Quit match.
It needs to end definitively. And at this point, just being honest, at this point, somebody got to die. Somebody gonna have to burn. I'm gonna have to see some dirt be buried for real, because we've seen in this feud, we've seen Darby be thrown down some stairs.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Darby pull out a flamethrower.
Yeah,
this was pre-Everest, so we've seen Darby throw out a flamethrower. Last week, he tried a Molotov cocktail. We've seen caskets. We've seen body bags. We've seen said body bags set on fire. We've seen plastic bags be put over. I mean, all the plunder that you can think of. And I am 100% agreeing with you. As much as I love Darby, as much as Mox has taken the idea of the Death Riders, a lot of people didn't like it at first, and now people love it. I think now we're at a point where, like, you guys got to stop. We're good. Like, you guys can't keep going the level of violence, because now we're starting to get into real. Like, you know, I can no longer suspend my disbelief. Are you going to throw this Molotov cocktail or not?
Exactly.
You know,
and that's the thing. It's like I fully understand where and the why and the who and everything else that goes into this. I hear you, but at the end of the day, this has got to be it. The other thing that's very interesting to me in terms of why we're doing this again is we're having the Hurt Syndicate take on Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, whatever the hell they're calling themselves now. But we've already done this.
After the street fight.
We've already done this. Like, I need a stipulation here. Otherwise, leave it alone. Like, I don't need this anymore.
Typically, you go the traditional match and then the stip.
Yeah. And I don't mind the World Heavyweight or the World Tag Team Championship match, because I understand you want to keep Rodito strong probably until Full Gear. Fine. Where they might drop the championships. Fine. And you have Takeshita and Okada, who are probably going to be at each other's throats at the end of this match, because they're not going to win. At least that's my prediction. I get it. That match is fine. The $500,000 match with the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express, the money thing, I'll never get. But
so I like the money thing. It's very much a Mid-South old school territory ideal that I appreciate that Tony does. We got a super chat advocate says they are doing that Molotov cocktail spot on Saturday. I think they should just say what this tag match really is, and it's a number one contenders match.
Right.
Just say that. Just say, hey, the winners of this match will probably end up. But the reason why I feel like Tony and company are a little bit worried or about doing that is because something tells me that FTR was supposed to or is going to be winning the belts next. And so therefore, I still think we're headed towards Copeland and Christian against either FTR or the Bucks for the tag titles. I think that maybe we get that at Full Gear. No problem. Yeah. And I'm with you there. There's a lot of things that are kind of backwards here. You have an I Quit match with Darby and Mox. Why wasn't this the match? And then the coffin match kind of, I don't care how they go, but it's kind of backwards. And then you have a regular trios match here when we just had a street fight. Yeah, we just had a street fight, and then not on top of that, like, again, this is where Tony, I love you. AEW, I love you, but like, this is where you get very convoluted. Why the trios titles aren't in this involved? They're nowhere near the one and only trio feud that you have. Right. We finally got a trios feud. We finally got it.
Yeah.
And the trios belts are being held on a guy who is going to be facing the World Heavyweight Champion, another guy who's just kind of been his foil or just been there. and then another guy who, because of his visa, is not there every week. So meanwhile, you got 6 guys who are here every week
Yep.
and who are involved in a story, and we can't get, because nobody, okay, we the tag titles were on Hurt Syndicate, cool. Why wouldn't they then get the trios? Like, if their whole purpose is to hurt people and get gold, this I hope should be just nothing but a pit stop for the Hurt Syndicate.
I agree.
To take out the demand should be nothing but a pit stop.
We got a $5 from Gumpy Omega. Thoughts and prayers to the enemies of Kenny Omega after what they did to Ibushi. Yeah, good point. That's another guy. Why isn't Kenny on this card? Don't tell me that he's got some other obligations. Whatever.
This weird part-time schedule they got Kenny doing is
I need Kenny in the main event picture, man. With all the absence of stars right now, Swerve, Will, I need Kenny in the main event scene. That's just
to me, Kenny, why don't you want your get back against Okada? I understand you guys don't want to run that back just yet.
Right.
Because that'll probably be one of Okada's last few matches. Because if you ask me, I think 2026 is Okada's last year as a wrestler. That's just my bold prediction. I think that man's been wrestling for 20 plus years. It is about time. That being said, if you're not going to do Kenny Okada yet, right now, it would be a great time for Kenny to say, hey, Takeshita, nice belt you got there. I haven't won that version.
Well, I think Kenny's staying away from Okada and Takeshita for a reason, because I think those two are on a collision course for Full Gear in Newark, New Jersey, which is fine. I'm here for it. That match is going to absolutely deliver. And there's a story now. People are bitching about stories. You're going to get it, because they're going to probably have some sort of miscommunication or hiccup at Wrestle Dream with the tag team title match. But again, who knows? Let's get into a couple more super chats and let's get on down the road. Angel says, Drew, saw reports saying TKO wants to do Randy versus Brock feud down the road. That would be a mega money match if they do it. Do you think it happens? Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big match. TKO is going to continue to try get their money back in terms of what they initially put into purchasing WWE. So I think they'll try and squeeze every big match and nickel and dime they can out of it. That's why WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. You're not going to turn down that
match. Would you care to see 2024? Yeah, no.
I think the matches I'd like to see Brock have right now is Gunther, Oba. If they want to run back Randy, sure. And I'd like to see Cody again
for
as well.
Brock. Give me Gunther, Braun Breaker.
Yep, I could see that.
Cody one more time.
Okay.
And Obafemi, because I need the big meaty men. That'll be just a good match. Yeah. A good visual. Just the chest to chest, that whole thing, that'll be a good visual. But Brock Randy, I'll say this, it will make money. It will upset people though. No, that's a finish where nobody comes out happy, honestly, because Brock doesn't need to beat Randy, but Randy doesn't need to lose, because at this stage in his career, when you're the elder statesman, you can only afford so many losses before you're just the old guy who puts people over. So, yeah, I think that's a very careful matchup that it prints money, but you don't want to ruin Randy's stock as he's heading towards a Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, I would agree. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow. I am at Andrew Vidala on X. Jordan is
I am at slick_flair91.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe and follow Wrestle Purist. It's right up here. This is the channel that I will exclusively be doing my content for, besides the small videos here or there. Jordan, you have a channel and a group.
Yes, I am the one of the founders, one of the many of the Wrestle Collective. We are just a normal group of wrestling fans who have come together and want to end tribalism. We like having conversations like this, like Andrew and I have. And so we have a podcast, comes on every Thursday. Check us out at WC. You can check us out on Twitter at WC Worldwide. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe and that's just The Wrestle Collective. Again, we go live again this Thursday, 5:30 Central. So yeah, please check us out. Definitely.
There you go. Again, I'm at Andrew Badalla. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Wrestle Purist channel. I'm live every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 1:30 Central Time, talking all things professional wrestling and sports entertainment. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed the show. Again, like, subscribe, and follow. Hit that like button. Get as many likes as you can. I'd like to thank the people over at Wrestle Purist. I'd like to thank everybody who donated a super chat. That was very nice. And we'll catch you guys and girls next week with myself and Jordan. I'll be live Thursday, 2:30 Eastern Time with Drew Springsteen. Jordan, for the rest of your day. Take care, everybody.
I'll see you later.